Hello and welcome back, Emily Jean if you're new here, and today I'm doing my Polarthon Wrap Up. So if you want to find out how Polarthon went, this was my first time, what I ended up reading, grab your coffee, grab your tea, and let's get cozy. Okay, Polarthon 2022 is officially in the books. This was run by Jadeyraereads, and it was my first Polarthon, my first readathon in general, fully participating in, and it was so much fun. So the first prompt was Cozy Vibes, and I read The Winter People by Jennifer McMahon. I think it goes with cozy vibes. They're like snowed into this farmhouse. It's definitely a mystery, a little bit of like ghost vibes, a little bit of like zombie vibes, as in like coming back to life after you're dead. I enjoyed it. I ended up giving it 3 stars. It was creepy and pretty unique, but there were definitely some big logic holes in it. The writing, the beginning, like the timeline jumps between different perspectives and different years. And I found it a little bit disjointed, unintentionally disjointed, I think. I spent a lot of time in the beginning kind of looking back to the past chapters to be like, wait, who are we following again? How are they connected to this whole story? But by the middle, it kind of started to come together and there was a lot more flow to it, and I really enjoyed it. By the end, it had picked up and it had definitely like kept me guessing, and there was a lot of intrigue. So I did enjoy it overall. For Cawpile, I ended up giving it 7 for characters, 7 for atmosphere, 7 for writing, 7 for plot, 7 for intrigue, 6 for logic. There were a couple things that I was just like, what? That was never explained at the end, but came up a lot. Like one of the little girls has this doll that she communicates with, and I thought that would play more of a part, but it just kind of dropped and not talked about unless I missed it. Let me know. And then enjoyment, a 7, which rounded out to 6.86 and 3 stars. The next book that I read was for the snowy cover prompt, and this was actually a dollar store read that I picked up a while ago, and I'm so excited I finally read it because it was really, really good. This was Little Comfort by Edwin Hill. It's a detective-ish. Well, the main character is a missing persons like private investigator on her side job. She's also a librarian, but people hire her to find missing people because she's got a knack for it. So this was a really fun, like, it definitely has a detective mystery solving feel. There are a couple of pretty like gruesome parts, which I wasn't expecting. I mean, there is a blood splatter on the front, so I probably should have picked up on that. But I'd say overall, the vibe of this book is mystery. And looking back, I think I actually ended up enjoying it more than Winter People, even though I gave it the same rating. It ended up getting 3 stars. I did 6 across the boards for all of the categories. And to be honest, I don't know why. Now that it's been like a couple weeks out, just 1 week out since finishing, this one is sticking with me more than Winter People, and it's actually the first in a series with that character who finds people. So I'm going to continue this series for sure. And this was his debut novel, so I really enjoyed this. I would recommend it if you're looking for like a winter mystery with a little bit of like thriller vibes. Definitely go for this one. And then the next prompt was Animal Friend, and I actually picked up Pax, which I had picked up to read with my son, but it's a little bit, it was a little bit too old and dense to read with him at nighttime. This was a low 3 stars. So this is about a boy who is friends with a wolf, and his father ends up going to war. They can't take care of, not a wolf, a fox. They can't take care of the fox anymore. So they drop him off in the woods. And it's all about the boy's journey back to trying to find Pax, his fox, and like kind of like an adventure journey to find his way back to his fox. When he finds his fox at the end, I'm going to put up a spoiler here. Spoiler! I'll leave the spoiler banner up until I'm done. His fox is in the middle of like a war-torn setting. There are mines in the field, there are guns going off, but his fox has found a mate and like a cub that he's taken on as his own. So the boy sees that he has a family and he leaves them there. He's like, oh, you have your family now. I guess I know what choice you made. And he leaves him in the middle of this war-torn field, which does not make sense. It does not make sense. He would not do that based on his whole personality profile, all of his character decisions up until the ending. His whole life is about this fox. And if he had seen that his fox had made a new family, he would have taken them, brought them to safety, and then maybe released them in the wild somewhere safe. But he would have just left them there in the middle of a minefield. Does not make logical sense. This probably would have been a higher rating, but I gave it 2 for logic. It was so frustrating. I enjoyed the adventure part of this. I enjoyed the bond that they had. Like, it was so heartwarming. I almost had to put it down because I lost my animal companion friend in 2020 now, but it still feels like yesterday, my dog, and I miss her all the time. So this was almost too close to home, but I'm glad I stuck with it because it was really enjoyable until the end. There are more in this series. I'm not going to pick them up. I just have no interest now after the way that it ended. It didn't make sense, and I was really angry and frustrated. So it still ended up getting 3 stars, but very low. The overall rating ended up being 5.43. So that's Pax. And then the last and final book that I read, you could combine 2 prompts if they were next to each other. So this was an Arctic setting and a polar fantasy. And this was Winterwood by Shay Earnshaw. This is about woods that are alive, that have a personality, that have magic. It's about a witch and a boys like camp. They're like boys in, not recovery, but boys with bad behavior, like a reform camp. Okay, so it's about boys in a reform camp, this witch, and these woods that are alive. It was really enjoyable. I loved it. Like, middle to end was definitely my favorite part. It picked up so quick and a lot of things happened towards the end that was almost like too much, too fast, too late. I wish some of that had been spread out across the whole book. It would have made it closer to a 4 or 5 star read for me. I ended up giving it 3 stars. I never really got that full immersion that I love, especially when nature has plays such a strong character in a book. I love that immersion that you can get. I never really got that with this book, and I think I would have if some of the reveals later on had happened earlier and we got to kind of sit in that a little bit more. But overall, an enjoyable read if you like fantasy, magic, witches, and a little bit of mystery. I would recommend this for you. For Cowpile, I gave it 5 for characters, 5 for atmosphere, 5 for writing, 6 for plot, 6 for intrigue, 6 for logic, and 6 for enjoyment. Okay, and then if you did watch my original Polarthon plans, I was going to, my stretch goal was to read Dr. Zhivago, and yeah, that did not happen. A week-long readathon. I'm super impressed that I got 4 books in. I can't believe it. Usually I read 1 or 2 a week. My goal every month is to read 5 books, so I was really happy with the 4 that I did read. This is in my TBR jars. I'm pulling a couple each month to read, so I'm just going to put this back on the shelf and hopefully it comes up again. It's an intimidating read just because of all the history around it, and it's kind of dense, but I am excited to read Dr. Zhivago and see what it feels like. I was going to read this for my Arctic setting one since it takes place in Russia, I think. Yeah, since it takes place in Russia. So that was my Polarthon. It was so much fun. I'm definitely on the hunt for other readathons that let me use books that are already on my shelves. G from Book Rose just announced one, but I'm so confused about how it works. I can't find the quiz to find out the guild that you're in. It's so intricate. I'd love to participate, but I don't know if I can figure it out. If you guys know more about G's, if you did her first part of this, the novice run, let me know. I'd love to participate, but I'm feeling a little intimidated by how intricate it is. And overall for Polarthon, I just had so much fun. The reading sprints were so fun. Jade and Gavin and Steph and Pris. I didn't know Pris before. I hadn't watched any of her sprints, but they have such a bond and a friendship, and they all got together, traveled to see each other during Polarthon, and it was so fun to see that friendship on screen and to see them interacting together, and you could just feel like the genuine nature of their friendship, and that was fun to see in the sprints. It was fun to watch Jade's daily vlogs. I really felt like a part of a community for that week, so that was really enjoyable as well. I'll definitely participate in it again next year, and let me know if you participated in Polarthon and if you reached the top and met the Arctic goddess. I would love to know. That is it for today's video. Thank you so much for hanging out, and hopefully I'll see you in another video very soon. Bye guys.